As we're all very well aware, the fine folks over at Line 6 have recently released their Line 6 Helix Firmware 3.50. And what a great update it is. One great new addition to this update is the addition of what they call the Pillars overdrive pedal, which is a model of the Earthquaker Devices Plumes overdrive. Really nice model. I did a dialing in video about this shortly after the update came out. Now, it doesn't always happen that any of the new models that we get in a new firmware that I actually have the physical unit here in the studio. And I happen to have the opportunity to have one here in the studio. I thought, wouldn't it be fun to kind of compare them, go back and forth at various settings and see how accurate the model is to the original model. So that's what we're going to do today. Without further ado, let's dive over to HX Edit. I'm going to go off screen, show you the pedal and HX Edit together, and we can go from there and listen to how the different settings compare to one another. All right, so here we are over in HX Edit, and we have the little Plumes overdrive up on the screen. What I've done here is a quick overview of my methodology here. I have a 6-button looper, which I've played a short little riff into, because when comparing two tones like this, if I was to play the same riff on my guitar 2 times, there's going to be variances in the way that I play it. Maybe I'm hitting harder on one, and that could affect the tone. So this way here, we're just going to play the same exact performance into both. Now I have 2 snapshots set up. I have Pillars, which is going to be the Pillars overdrive. Here we have all the settings on 5 and the mode on 2, going into the Placator Clean amp into one of the new 412 Greenback 25 speakers, and just a little dab of the new dynamic ambience reverb at the end. So what's going to happen when I switch over to Snapshot 2 Plumes, you'll notice that the Pillars overdrive turns off and an effects loop is engaged. Now I do have this effects loop set to instrument level so that the Plumes overdrive is seeing the same signal as the Pillars overdrive, just a guitar instrument input. Now I have that first loop sending out of the Helix into the Plumes overdrive, back out of the Plumes overdrive and into the Helix. So when I switch back and forth with this, when I switch back and forth between these snapshots, what it's doing is switching back and forth between the Pillars overdrive, or the virtual model, and the real Plumes overdrive. I've balanced the volumes between both as carefully as I can. So I'm going to get you to really keep your eye up here for when I switch snapshots so that you can really hear when we are switching between the virtual model and the real thing. So again, number 1 is Pillars. That's the virtual Firmware 3.5 model. And when we're on Snapshot 2 Plumes, we are going to move to the real Plumes overdrive. Okay, so let's start with the Pillars. We're going to keep this in focus on screen because this will be the settings of the Pillars, and then you will see, I hope it's coming through on camera all right, you'll see the changes I make to the Plumes overdrive over on the other camera. So let's start this loop up and we'll make some comparisons. All right, what do you guys think? Man, oh man, that's really close. Very, very impressive. You'll notice I have the level, the tone, the drive all on 5, and I have the mode switch on 2 on the real Plumes drive here, and I have all those same settings over here on the Pillars. Let's do this. Let's start off by just going through the different modes. I'm going to take it to mode 1. I will come over to the Plumes drive and go to mode 1 as well, and we'll do the same little test. I'll start the loop, and we will go back and forth between the two of them to see the difference between the tones with the different modes on. So, what do you guys think? I don't know if it's just my ears playing tricks, but I think maybe the real overdrive pedal just has the slightest hair more overdrive. I don't really know. Once you hear the same riff for a while, you can start to lose perspective on it. You get some ear fatigue going into it, but I think there might be. But other than that, I mean, that is extremely close, and coming over and bumping this up to 5.3 or 5.5 might actually even just fix that. Let's see what that does. So sure enough, that almost seems like it gets it almost identical to my ears, and maybe I'm not hearing things right, but very impressive, very close. All right, let's go over to mode 3 with these same settings. I apologize for having to hear that same riff over and over again. Again, extremely close. Okay, let's go back to mode 2 and let's do this. Let's bring the gain down to 0. And see how those compare. All right, again, wow, very, very close. Let's push it the other way. We'll go up to 10. On the gain control. Wow, again, extremely close. The other thing is sometimes we can get two models of the same pedal that are going to have slight differences. And I almost feel that the differences between Line 6's Firmware 3.5 version and the real Plumes could fall within that kind of range of, shall we even use the word inaccuracy? I don't even want to do that. I'm actually quite blown away by how this sounds and is performing. Let's do this. Let's go back to 5 on the gain. Let's try darkening things up by bringing the tone all the way down to 0. And seeing how the tone controls react. Everything else is the same. We still have mode on to level on 5 and gain on 5. very, very impressive yet again. Extremely close. Let's put the tone up to 10. And we'll listen to the audio one more time at these settings. Now, obviously, there are a lot more possible settings and interactions between controls that would just make this video far too long and listening to that riff far too annoying. So I just wanted to do some basic settings just to sort of hear how these controls are reacting. Now, like I said, there could be interaction between the controls if we bring the tone down with the gain up and so on and so forth, but there would be endless combinations. But from my initial little comparison here, I think everybody will probably agree that these are eerily close. And I am absolutely blown away by the incredible job that the folks at Line 6 did. Hats off to you guys. Very, very nice job and a very nice addition to the Helix. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Very interesting stuff. It's always really interesting to hear other people's thoughts on these comparisons. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that that was interesting. I was just doing it even more for my own curiosity, and I thought I would share this with you. So thanks for sharing your time with me. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. And also please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I will be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.